Hello there, everybody. Man, just jamming out to a little bit of Ronnie Woods. Yes, yes, yes. Let me get that there. And oh, man, I'll tell you, it's cool, isn't it not? It says I'm live. I feel alive. Although that term could be tricky. But anyway, how are y'all doing? It's Wednesday, the hump day, as they would say. Good to see ya. Y'all are bright and just astounding. I just tell you, I feel your energy. Be right back in a minute. So does Elderberry say, hey, Marie, eyes to see how you doing, darling. Deborah, hello. S. Lee, Lost in Space. Gloria, good to see you. Queen of Swords, how are you? Emperor Rex, what's happening? And Bonnie, good to see you, Paul. Joe. So I know there's others out there. Hey, Street Mom, good to see you. Shannon, good to see you. Go, go. What's a happening, my friend? Big Al is in the room. I had great text messages with Al. Hey, everything is cool. Sometimes setbacks happen, but that is the way life is. So we love everybody. In fact, I'll let y'all know this. This is how much I truly love you all. It's that much. So kind of just figure out how far that goes, because this is just the V point. It expands. As Patrick Swayze said in the great role he played in Ghost, the love, you take it with you. Yeah, we're going to be talking about death today. Not death, excuse me. I'm actually wrong on that because, I get tripped up. We're going to be talking about the dead, and the dead are not death. Two different things. Anyway, today is the super moon, and I hope you're feeling the energy. I was out working out earlier, and man, I tell you what, there's something about pumping iron. I don't know what it is. It's just, man, and you start getting into that meditation thing, and you're going, okay, yeah. But hey, so the energy is high. It's good. It's positive. Embrace it. It is the super full moon. And Lilith, we love you, darling. So get out there and enjoy. Hello, Chloe. Hello. Is that Judy? Good to see you as well. Hello, Susie Q. John Price, what's up, brother? So, and if you're out there tonight, lend yourself to the meditation of the green Terra. Someone said, you said Tara. I said, I know I said that. Sometimes you have to do things to make sure y'all are paying attention. So apparently y'all are a very astute crowd. Indeed, y'all are. Let's see what else is happening. I really and tonight, when you're looking at the full moon, think about Earth. Think about what she's had to endure. We're going to be talking a lot about the Earth because it's all connected. But give her some love. I mean, give her some love. Stop when you think of Earth, you think of this beautiful goddess. There's different levels of love. There's an intensity that far surpasses anything physical. So, get intimate. I believe in my Bible teaching, Paul wrote, and the word he used in the Greek was the same word we get intercourse. He says, if you can't have that type of relationship with God, Savior, whatever it is, that where it's the intensity of the moment of orgasm, the intercourse, you're just faking it. But when Harry met Sally, I was convinced. Had to go in because I used to travel a lot to New York City and loved it back then, and ate at that very deli. Yeah. So, and who doesn't like, when, Harry met Sally? I mean, that's a great love story. It is. So anyway, it's a happy day, and that's all I got to say. Hey, Julie Rose, how are you, darling? Grace, what's up, darling? Good to see you. Hey, Scotty boy. So, yeah, let's have some tea. Hey, Susan, good to see you. Walk upon the earth with bare feet, but avoid the fire ants. Ain't that the truth? Being raised down in Texas on the Texas Gulf Coast, yeah, you learn really quickly what those little piss ants can actually do. Hey, Brian, what's up? Good to see you, brother. Truth Seeker. Hello, crystal clear. I like that. Gloria, there's a song about you. And it was Gloria. Yeah, little Van Morrison and them. I believe that's the group he was with. This is a topic that I believe you're going to find thought-provoking. You will find it stimulating one way or the other, because it is a topic that all of us, my wife and I, have made our plans. We know how it's going to go. Hey, David Castle, how are you, brother? How's Rufus? Good to see you. William, hello. Good to see you as well. You're going to have to make that decision. Don't procrastinate and, let someone else deal with it once you vacate the body, because turns out there may be a little bit more to this than what most of us perceive, because most of us in our perception of the dead have been passed on primarily through family. And then, of course, associated social groups, church, whatever it is. Hey, Loretta, good to see you, darling. Sonali, good to see you. Namaste to you and all. Hello, Belanca. Much love to you, darling. Mary wins. We all win. So, and, it's one of those things that if you don't have a will, you should have one. It's important, I know, but you remember, we're in a legalese reality. So everybody should have a will. You can handwrite one and then give some serious thought as to how are you going to go out? I'm not talking about how you get there, but how are you going to go out? I mean, your body. Isby, what's up? Good to see you, darling. Excuse me. I bet he went, what? Yeah, I did too. But you're going to have to make that decision. In my career at one time to supplement, because there was one time money was like the big thing. And I actually went through the courses required by Texas law to actually sell burial arrangements, insurance. And it was always amazed me when you started talking to people about, hey, dude, I'm talking to you. Hey, Robert V, what's up? About you're going to die. Face it. I don't care how much you think that you're going to live forever. You're going to die. Now, what are you going to do about it? Of course, people go, what? But it's true. And the thing about the living have to have the dead. The living lives with the dead. The dead is very important. Graveyards, cemeteries are not individual plots, they're communities. It's the reason why many of them were blocked off. There is the sense, and it's just here recently, within the last 200 or so years, where we got into this custom of individual headstones. Now, that's a curse. I just want to let you know that, and if you don't believe me, just do the research into it. So, when you think about a gravestone, a headstone, really, what's this signifying? And the book we're going to be using, and this is going to be an ongoing topic. It's not going to be a series. It'll just be vignettes. This is a great book, The Work of the Dead. I have it on PDF. If you can afford to buy it, you should. This is when I started reading it, and wow, it just carried me away. It's a cultural history of mortal remains by Thomas LaCure. And what a freaking phenomenal book. That's all I got to say. This book is like, wow. Yeah. If I didn't say favor over us all, favor, Bosto, happy birthday if you got one. And baby, we are a prospering. I got to tell you what, every day in every way, Lynn and I prosper every way. And in ways we don't even know. So just something to think. Hey, Project Skyfall, Cowboy panel, what's up? So let's get into this. This is a topic that, well, I will go back. Hey, Heidi, how you doing, darling? Good to see you, hon. I'm going to go back and look in the chat room later, but this is, again, is a deep topic. And you'll be amazed how much the dead control your life. In fact, it can be said with absolute certainty, the dead rule the world. They rule the living. And away we go. All right, so let's get started. By the way, just for reference sakes, I know, Belanca, you're always one that always wants the PDFs. As I said, I do have the book, The Work of the Dead, that we're going to be referring to. This is a deep study. Just want to let you know, it is not a light read. It is an intense read. But I have also the Encyclopedia of Cremation. And because we're going to be dealing with, burial, cremation. Now, it is, Diogenes said, well, just throw my body over the wall and let the animals tear it up. I don't care. I'm not going to be in it. And why should you? Well, Thomas LaCour goes about answering that question. It's something about our species, how we care for the dead. We love the dead. We carry the dead with us. And when you think about the dead, so you've got either to be buried, of course, if it's a person's a victim of foul play, war, plague, whatever, sometimes they never do find rest. And it's interesting because we're going to be talking about those who are in the ground, those who choose to be by fire, and then those that are stuck. And it is a known certainty that if you go, for instance, to a battleground, Gettysburg is a place, that whole area out there in Virginia, you will see, they're there. You'll see the dead walking, fighting still. And it is said in some cultures that if you are left above the ground to basically become bloated, then have the insects feed upon you, basically be consumed, and never have the proper rights, that you are cursed. You are cursed to the earth. Now, we're going to talk about the other two choices and what that has. Here's an interesting, the archaeology of Britain about cremation. It said the mortuary rate of cremation was practiced in Britain throughout much of the prehistory from the early Neolithic period, that's 4 to 3000 BC, to the early pagan Saxon period, which was 410 to 650 AD. With a few examples of Norse cremations from the 8th to the 10th century. Cremation formed the predominant rite for disposal of the dead within the early Middle Bronze Age. Now, even going into the early Roman period, roughly 43 to 150 AD, and in parts of the northern frontier zones, cremation was the preferred method. And there's good reason for this. It's interesting. Now, it is the result, in Thomas's book, focuses primarily in the Middle Ages, medieval times, starting about 16th, 17th century forward, that the influence of Christendom altered how society and cultures viewed death, and particularly the dead. Because death, basically, once it arrives and leaves, what are you left with? Well, you're left with the dead. So if you want this, it's you're more than happy. Just email me and I'll send it off to you. So we've pretty much begin to see, as a culture today, we are actually going back more to our ancestral roots. Burial is a curse. So let's get into it, because this is a discussion worthy of this group. Give me 1 second as I go here. Y'all just talk amongst yourself. I'm fine. As he says, I'm fine. Got to get the queued up. I have to get it all queued up. That's what I'm doing here. All right, I'm back. There I am. Steiger, you're looking good today. We got to see these people I'm with. I mean, are they like the most beautiful bunch? They really are. Damn, y'all make me feel, good. You edify me. All right, so let's get into this. This is fun. I had fun putting this together, and because it is thought-provoking. So, and God cursed the earth and the ground. I didn't say it. He did it. But the interesting thing about this God, the God of the Bible, the God of reality, I guess, he did not curse fire. He did not curse air, nor did he curse water. He only cursed earth and the ground. In fact, the poor bastards that were under his rule, they were pretty much left with the fact that he said, this ground ain't going to produce anything without your blood, sweat, and tears. Wow. So setting the foundation so that we all know, are all on the same page here, we're starting out on this premise because, again, we're dealing with your death. You're dead. You're going to become part of our community again. Oh, did I say our? Yeah, it is our community. Yeah, weird, I know. Say what? So again, I recommend The Work of the Dead by Thomas LaCour. It is a great book. Again, if you're in a position that it's financially, it's cool, let me know and we can bring you up. It's a great book. So here is the premise. What is a dead body but an empty shell? For those of you listening on replay, but in the chat room, and those of you listening now live, look at your body. For those of you who have had near-death experiences, raise your hand. Yeah, I've seen my body. Many of you have too as well. And it's kind of a weird feeling because, you're looking down and guess what? It ain't you. Yeah, it's you, but you ain't you. And what does it matter what happens to it? I mean, seriously, the body, once it starts decomposing, becomes a mess. It's a grotesque, putrefied, disgusting manner in which, in fact, as I was reading last night, way into the night, Len would say, would you go to sleep? The very enzymes that are in us, that are in that aspect that convert matter into this dynamic, I don't know if you want to call it, I'm trying to think of the right word, the energy. Yeah, it's of the ethereal realm, no doubt, but how and what it does. Yeah, we understand the chemical process, but we've barely breached on the aspect of what's really taking place. But here's the thing. Those very enzymes that convert that energy so that we can actually occupy these bodies, And I still say that, is Trina and I were talking yesterday, the solar plexus, it's that solar plex energy. It's interesting. But in any case, the moment you depart your body, and I don't even know if it's your body anymore, that's debatable. Whose body is it? You're not there. Do you still own your body after you leave it? So, yeah. So here's your body. And the minute you leave, these enzymes, they turn on the body. They begin to consume the body. And there's a weird alchemical chemical thing that happens in this body. It's if it's left to the natural decay, there is it's quite fascinating, grotesque in a way, but yet it's the reality. Now, the spiritual aspect of this, where is it? How long are you attached to your body once you depart your body? Are you even attached at all? Is it even a concern of yours? It appears that there may be, yes. I mean, because if we see ghost spirits, they appear to resemble that which they once occupied. It seems like there is an impression that takes place once the essence leaves the body spirit will not die because it will attach itself to that spirit energy. And when that spirit energy is seen by other of the living dead, us right now, it's remarkable. It looks like grandma. It looks like uncle. It looks like my mom. It looks like, my brother, whatever. So it kind of puts that whole idea that we're these ethereal, things, well, no, apparently not. So the question I'm asking all of you, will this be you? Are you going to be put into the ground that's cursed, by the way? And more importantly, do you know what the actual tradition of burial is? Do you? Why do we bury the dead? Why do we bury them 6 feet down? It's called entombment. Now, cultures of the past, in past societies, they understood this. It was to keep the dead trapped down. And this is where the decay process, if you're attached to your body still, it means that there's a good likelihood many will watch their bodies decay. Now, of course, today in modern laws, you're embalmed, and, so that slows the process. If it's a really good embalming job, yes, because there are sloppy embalming jobs that meet just the bare minimum. But if you've got a good embalmer that really knows what the hell they're doing, yeah, your body. And if you got a good casket, now I used to sell caskets, so I can speak on them. If you ever been in a casket, you ought to go to a funeral home and try one out. Oh, you think that sounds bizarre, huh? Well, you should. Part of the requirement when I got my license was that you had to literally sit in there and let them close the lid because you're selling it, because you want the dead to be comfortable. That's why you want to make sure that the headrest is well padded and that, it's padded on the top because that apparently is important for the dead. The cadaver. Oh, wait a minute. You see, there's a difference between a body and a cadaver. Did you know that? Yeah. But anyway, let's get back to this thing, because you want to be comfortable in that entombment. And there are some that can be lead lined. There's some that can have, a concrete vault. But eventually, inevitably, nature will win that contest. So you may be able, and you may even be in a region where they mummify you. And that's good. But even that will eventually go back to the dust. So is this going to be you? There is one truth. We all can be assured of this. It's not debatable. It's above debate. The one truth is we all die. All of us. We are, in fact, an extended family of a community of the dead. Every one of us. And regardless if we were manufactured, genetically produced, or magically produced out of the cursed earth. Oh, shit. Forgot about that. But anyway, I digress. The point is, we are and still are. We're just on furloughs. We all will eventually go back to our community because that's what we are. We're not individuals. When you pass over, it's not going to be that they're going to remember you specifically. You become part of this collective. Now there's, I guess there's the individuality aspect of it, but we're a community of the dead. And by the way, this was the teaching for thousands of years. Yeah, and there's those tombstones, the gravestones, the monuments. And depending if you look at this in your particular point of view, yeah, there is so much here we could talk about. You got a cross above where your head is at. You got a headstone above where your head is at. Granite. It's, so let's see, you're in the ground that's cursed. You're using elements of the ground that's been cursed. And this is where you're going to be spending eternity. I have said this many times. The dead talk, even after death. I've known a homicide detective out in California. He was a good friend. And he taught me a lot about people, but he also taught a lot about death. And it's what he said, every murder victim speaks. Now, this is the Hall of Souls, the shoes, at the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. If you're ever there, I highly recommend that you do this tour, visit the Holocaust Museum. Even as I'm speaking now, my wife and I were talking last night, we can smell the shoes. You just, Lynn had to help me out of this place. It so affected me psychically that, and it's because my ancestors are there. Yeah, the dead speak. And it's amazing what articles of clothing, rings that are endued with our essence. It's amazing what shoes actually absorb. But nevertheless, the dead talk. Another truth is the dead rule over the living. You and I cannot go anywhere that the dead are not talking to us. In fact, if you look at religion, the basis of all religion is that it's written by the dead, not written by the living. Now, we may put pen and paper to it, but no, it came from the dead. All religion, all philosophy, all political ideology is all from the dead. The dead rule the living. Crazy realm, isn't it? Again, as I said before, death and dead are not the same. Death is a causation, an effect. Dead is a state of being. It could be probably a good debate to discuss, well, is death dead? Is the spirit of death dead? Or is the spirit of death alive? Because it appears that the dead seem to outlive the living. So what is death? We barely know what death is. We know the effects of it. We see it. We're all going to experience it. There is an exact second you will pass. Often said about people that can foresee the future and, etc. Well, why don't you tell a person their exact moment they're going to die? You seem to want to know the exact moment that we came into this realm. Why is it that you can't see the exact moment of a person's departure? I'm just asking. You know why? Because no one wants to know that exact second. And no matter what your bravado is, well, hell yeah, I do. Ain't gonna bother me. You, come on. Who the hell you're trying to impress? It would drive you nuts. Well, some other of us would find tremendous opportunity in knowing the exact second. It's almost like you're cheating, it's like, okay, because I'm going to do ba ba da ba ba, and you're going to go, yeah, got it done, But anyway, the dead are alive. It is the living that die. You see, the dead, they're dead. It's no debate. But the term alive is seen to have been reserved for what we perceive to be the living dead. And it's only the living that will experience the death, the die. The dead already have. They ain't going to do it again. I don't know. I guess, you can get into a theological debate. Is there a second death? The teachings of the Christ suggest that there is. That being dead is not really being dead. There are different, how shall we say, states of dead. Not death, dead. Again, the living live with the dead. Yeah. It is the living that need the dead. The dead use the living because they know that there's this symbiotic connection, this relationship. We study history. We have people in history that we look up to. The interesting thing about the Sumerians, it was said that they were really the first modern culture that were aware of passing of time, history. All of us want to be remembered. Why? Because apparently that's what we do as the living. You see, the living are host and carry the memories of the dead. And when you examine this becomes very interesting. For instance, you can deal with the aspect of demonic possession of a Holy Spirit, influences. What are these? Are they the dead? Again, if you believe in that, what are you dealing with? Who and what are these creatures? What are these beings? Are they the dead? They apparently are not the living. They don't meet the legal requirement of the living. We live in a legalese reality. You're here under contract. But let's get back to the fact. You see, the dead, if there was no memory of them, well, they kind of just, there's no memory. That's why burial, cremation. But what's important that we all want to leave a legacy where someone in the living realm, after we have passed over, will speak our name, will speak a memory. That's why if you do podcast, well, you're almost pretty well assured that you have that ticket. And let me tell you, in times past, millennia past, there are the dead who would give anything to have what you have. The opportunity that even when you pass, even if there's a freaking great cataclysm, yet your image, your voice, your energy will be carried at the speed of light. Yeah. Kind of gives you almost, sense of royalty. I mean, you think about it. The great debate and divide if mankind is a savior, a god, a leader, a hero, a legend. Yeah. Memories. And that's what the living does. You see, the living not only carry the memories of the dead, but we ensure to add because we are the dead. And we're taking steps now to ensure upon our crossing that our name, our memory will be carried by another living host. Weird, isn't it? You see, memory is immortality. Think about it. If your memory will be able to persevere through the ages, you, my friend, have just entered into the ranks of immortality. Now, it's a double-edged sword here because it limits you to what you will be in nauseam of immortality. Because the thing about memories, they're a trap. You never can progress beyond that feeling, that moment, that memory, because it is actually a snippet of the past that will not die. Now, of course, that brings up the question, well, if there's such a thing as reincarnation, do we add to our memory? Do we add to our collective? Do we add to our community? Maybe it's within the memory of immortality that through a community that I lend my memory to my community, vice versa, and now the immortality becomes unlimited. Interesting, is it not? It can be said with fact that the dead give purpose for the living. There is this thing called Terra management. Most humans use it in their lives. And the foundation of Terra management is this. It is your fear of death, the grave, the dead, that prevents you from going to extremes. We've all had moments of intense anger. For many, they know how to subdue it, even if there is an exposition of it. There are some, however, who cannot. Yeah. So without the dead and death hanging over us, it has a tendency to either refine us or restrain us. You determine that. But then again, it's the dead that gives us purpose for the living. How many are involved in an organized religion? A pagan rite? I mean, I just go on with the list. In Mexico, in Southern cultures, the Day of the Dead's a very big deal. I get it now. I can really understand this, why it's such a big deal. It's practiced for the longest time, but here in the West, we think we're more refined. Here's an interesting thing. The dead can kill the living. Yeah. But the living cannot kill the dead. There are reported cases of the dead. Now, whether it was imaginary, whether it was material, whatever, but people have been found dead. Now, there are many in this category. It can be fright, heart attack, die of terror, torment. I mean, it's amazing, but the dead can kill the living. Kind of freaky when you think about it in that way, isn't it? Well, this is reality. It's no metaphysical, hypothetical, theoretical, immanentical nonsense. The dead are real. They're powerful. Look how many are in religion again. It's the dead that's being worshiped, not the living. And here's the weird thing. The living, they die many different kinds of death in this death zone. This is not the realm of the living. This is the realm of death. The dead don't have to experience it. They'll watch it. They'll watch you and I go through it. They don't have to. You got physical death, number one. You have emotional death. You have spiritual death. You have social death. You have financial death. You have family death. I mean, I could just make this list go on and on. It's quite, I don't know, amazing to see how many forms of death we go through. Think about past love relationships. Those are deaths. We could get into each one of these aspects. Today, social death is probably more of a bigger deal than it has ever been. It probably, in some cases, social death would probably trump family death, spiritual death. Who knew? Be an interesting study. The dead are immortal. The living is temporary. All religions teach it. I was very well versed about it in Christianity. Judaism, I mean, it's all there. But here's the thing. Now, in Judaism, they don't see death as the same thing, the dead. It's a whole different realm for them. It's a different realm for Christendom. But no matter how you extract it, dissect it, the dead are, in fact, immortal. The living try to do everything they can to have that immortality to be transposed over into this realm of the living death. There's a reason why it will never happen, because when you cross over, you're going to realize that this is hell. This is the death realm. There's nothing living about it. And here is the fail-safe program. Whoever is the architect of this put the fail-safe program because it knew that if we ever found the ability to bring immortality into the living death realm, we would be sentencing ourselves to a hell beyond any imagination. You see, the dead welcome us. It's a welcome home. The delusion, which is not a, it's like denial. It's not a river. The delusion is that we think that this is existence. We think that this is reality, that this is never going to end. It stays like this. Oh, it may evolve, but it's never, no. It's all illusionary here. This is why immortality will never be achieved with the living. And no matter how much money you got, no matter how much technology, even if it was possible to download your consciousness, you'll never get there. You'll be denied the sense of achievement of immortality. So let's talk about burial and cremation. Why do we bury the dead? Burying the dead can be part of a traditional, culture, and a religious ritual. If you ever wondered why do we bury the dead, there are many reasons that have kept this practice going for so long. It's all that we call it a practice. It's the practice of burying the dead. And we are really good at this. We got elaborate, rituals, grieving processes, mourning. I mean, it gets really into it. Why it may be important to bury the dead: traditional cultural practices, keeping decomposing bodies out of sight, blocking decomposition related odors from becoming overwhelming. It was a problem back in the churchyards of the 16th, 17th centuries. You see, if you were a part of the priesthood or a rich person, you got buried in the churchyard. Problem was they started burying so many bodies in there that even when they were doing that, the ground was still emitting the odor. In fact, people became very accustomed to a certain level of decomposed flesh. It allows for a place to visit and honor the deceased individual. Isn't it odd that we find this need to visit entombments, talk to them, cry over them, to prevent animals from consuming human remains? Imagine if you're one that was consumed. Holy crap. Well, that's why you would end up this holy crap. Anyway, a ritual that offers the deceased respect and dignity and also honors their life. You see, here is the real big thing. The number one taboo thing about humanity is that you do not disrespect a corpse, a body. We have laws against that. There's perversions of where people like having sex with dead bodies. It gets really, there are those who are so attached to the individual, they can't see themselves separated. It's also reconnection to the earth. And finally, concern with the afterlife. Why did we start burying the dead? Well, burying the dead was first observed by the Neanderthals, although scientists aren't sure if they were concerned with the afterlife or were doing so for sanitary purposes. Others argue that burying the dead is associated with the grieving process, and that this behavior can also be observed in elephants and chimpanzees. This would mean that burying the dead isn't a uniquely human behavior, and animals with complex emotions may be driven to do so as well. We know that. Although there is no clear-cut answer as to why burials began, burying the dead seems to be important to those who experience grief. Now, it has to be also countered with this, that what burial was doing was merely side by side, which I believe was the first true rite, was by fire. There is so much in alchemy. There's so much in, as we know, in the elements of what fire does. Fire purifies, fire cleanses, fire releases. And so if fire has not been cursed, it would seem to me that any living or dead soul or spirit being would never, they would find being entombed in a cursed ground to be hell. That whereas being through the fire, walking through the fire, I come out purified. I now can be released to the air, to the water. Just saying. Why do we bury our dead 6 feet under? Burying the dead 6 feet under was mandatory as a response to the bubonic plague outbreak in 1665. Did you know that? Oh, come on, be honest. In England, the thought was doing so would help prevent the spread of the infection. Odd, isn't it? The things that we learn. Why do we bury the dead in coffins? Coffins are used in some burial practices to prevent the dead from rising. Holy shit! Yeah, think about that next time you're attending a funeral. The belief started was to keep them from rising. A belief in some religions and cultures that still play out today. And if you look at some of the programs and some of the hauntings that are taking place, particularly in mausoleums, it gives you real cause. What the hell is going on here? To lay the dead to rest in a peaceful and comfortable setting. That's why you want, modern day cemeteries are to reflect, a park-like setting. I can guarantee you the dead don't give a crap, but the living do. And then, of course, from preventing animals from disturbing the bodies. But we also know the most vile, reviled creature, animal, the hyena, they seem to be able to get down to, they like dead human flesh. They seem to have a genetic predisposition to it. Then you get into the Christian tradition of burial. Christian burial traditions contain many rituals which help prepare the deceased and the individual's body for their journey to heaven. As I said yesterday, and thank you for the emails on this, so many of you said you'd never thought about this. How can you? We all apparently know when, because we tell people, go to hell. I hope you go to hell. But none of us know what heaven is like. So how are we really doing someone a favor by saying, oh, we're going to prepare you for a journey to heaven? Well, what's heaven like? We haven't a clue. Well, why are you sending me? Better you than us. All right. The Jewish burial tradition, faith holds that many symbolic burial rituals that are followed according to which denomination of Judaism is practiced. And it's, again, you have Guyana, you have, there's just a number of different things because in Jewish tradition, there is no heaven. Your inheritance is here on the earth forever. I don't know, it seems like a curse to me, but that's just me. Muslim burial practices, traditions include burying the deceased very shortly after their passing, as well as using shrouds to transport the body. You can't touch the body. It's unclean. If you touch the body, you have to separate yourself. I believe it's for a day and cleanse yourself. Chinese tradition depends on the several factors, including age, status, cause of death. It's elaborate here. Albanian burial rituals, I thought this one was interesting, have shifted over time. However, cremation is still typically not practiced when someone passes away. Instead, specific burial and funeral rituals take place. But here's the thing. many city planners will tell you they don't plan for the dead. The future plans for, the UN Project 2030 and on is to have, much like they had in the movie Soylent Green, they will have receiving centers that if you die of natural causes outside, you're still going to be brought there. If you are, in which many nations are now offering, where it is, it's not suicide services, but it's you pick your own time and place. This is what the future holds, because burying bodies is, number one, it's expensive. You have to have land, and the use of land, very odd. In Africa, one common belief is shared is that by having the proper burial can prevent the deceased individual from rejoining those in the living world and creating chaos. Navajo burials, traditions and customs are practiced to prevent the deceased individual from coming back to the living world. There are portals that they build that prevent this. There are certain rites that are set over bodies to prevent them from coming back through. Again, the benefits of burying the dead can offer those in mourning an opportunity to begin processing their grief in a ritualistic way. Ritualistic. Don't tell me we're not creatures of, paganism that allows for some structure during a very difficult and painful time. It shouldn't be painful at all. We've been taught to mourn. We've been taught, because if you're mourning, then you're saying you really don't believe in an afterlife. Anyway, don't cry for me, Venezuela. It also protects those in mourning to witnessing the decomposition. Humans have always cared for their dead, so much that archaeologists can consider mortuary rites among the traits that distinguish Homo sapiens from other species, other genesis of man. In other words, it is a fundamental part of being human for the living to care for the dead after death. Now, I got a lot more to cover this, and we'll get in this, but I want to stop because I want to talk about these memorials. This is the reflecting wall, the Vietnam Memorial. If you've ever been there, it's a very moving, very solemn place. There's a reason for that, particularly with the names of the individuals who are on this wall. There is huge energy in this wall. Many monuments, particularly of this scale, carry so much energy. Why? Because it is believed that the dead are still speaking. It's that memory thing. When Lynn and I were in DC, which we visited quite often, we went only once, and it was such a freaking weird experience, was the Korean Memorial. This place is haunted. It is haunted. We're going to get the video. If you've ever been here, these representatives of the soldiers who died, they come alive. Many people have reported right at twilight, dusk, that they swear that they can hear gunshots. They can hear soldiers talking. Lynn and I were there when the fog moved in, and it freaked us out. We heard them. We both were standing there, and I heard a walkie-talkie, and it's the strange. If you've ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. If you have, let me know what your experience. This one really moved me in the fact that there is an element that seems to breach the veil. Many people have reported the figurines, these statues moving, sometimes hearing moaning. And again, if you think about graveyards and churchyards, what is being done here? So I can see that my time is just about out. We're going to pick this up again. We're going to get into these symbols, the symbolics of having angelics. Are they truly angelics? Where are the demons? Yeah, the symbology is incredible. There was a time when I was dating a woman who was very much into this. We would travel all over Texas and find abandoned graveyards, and she did etchings of the headstones. And as I recall, even back then, I wasn't near aware as I am now, but the symbology on individuals' monuments, headstones, it's wild. Anyway, we, as I said, have not even begun to, and I was just looking at, I still got like another 30 minutes on that. So I hope you have found this at least informative, thought-provoking. Again, we will continue to carry on with Thomas's book. This is a subject that it's amazing how when you entail it with the occult, I mean, it's attached there as well as to any other religion. So good. I'll have to go back and look at the comments. Hello, Michelle Can-Am-Free. How are you, dear? So let me know. I hope it was informative. It was for me. Again, we will continue this because it is the dead that speak to us. I mean, if channeling is real, and I do believe it is, who are we talking to? Can't be talking to the living. Justice for all. I'm risk. You step in and you look at the conversation, you're going, I have no idea what that's based on. But anyway, again, thank you for listening. Thank you for feeding the machine, the like button, feed the algorithm. Thank you, Deborah Tucker. Much love to you and yours. And so, Deborah, are you going to be buried or are you going to be cremated? Tell me, which one is it going to be? Amy, you ask all that at the same time. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. There is so much about the dead. We're all going there. And it's amazing when you really think about it, that if you think about this. So the promise that I was under for decades was the promise of eternal life. So what's that saying? In essence, it's saying that the dead are the eternal life. I mean, I don't want to come back through this birth thing again. I don't think I liked it the first time. And you know what? Yeah, this is a really far out groovy place, but I got a sense there's better out there. I just got that sense. Yeah. I created, Marla says, I created my mom, my son, and I'm next. Yeah. I went from buried to cremation. There you go. Yeah. Hey, Shannon, have a hard copy of pics that I took at school and trip to DC. Some of the headstones in Arlington look like they may have had figures on. Oh, how interesting. Hey, Julianne, how you doing, darling? So I hope you found this interesting. We'll get into more. Wow. Isn't it odd that there's not more teaching on the dead? I mean, there's a lot of teaching out there. There's a lot of different channels, but isn't all of them eventually like a bunch, like they're hurting us? Because it's all going to eventually into the dead anyway. There has to be more teaching on the dead. And maybe we could begin to maybe find a way to better communicate. Just saying. All right, wrap me up beside the jukebox when I die. Mary wins. We did. We won. Exactly. All right, folks. Much appreciate you. See you tomorrow. Check out Nina's show. I think she's still holding on the channel. Big Al, it's good to see you. And love one another. None of us are perfect. We don't want to be perfect. that would get dull real quick. It's fun screwing up. Not all the time. Well, I don't know. Got to think about it. What is this like? All right. Thank you, Crystal Clear. There are some beautiful souls in here, aren't they? All right, folks. I am out of here. I'm going to make like a tree and leave and get like a hockey player and get the puck out of here. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. All right.